Motshelo is partly a savings plan, partly a social club, and sometimes partly a drama series. But then, what makes it such a powerful tradition? In this modern era, where there's so many digital platforms, so many digital options, why do people still choose Motshelo? Welcome to Gingerbread Podcast. My name is Joseph Vicky, and I'm joined by Walter. Walter, what's up?
Hi, how are you?
I've been good.
I'm alright too.
All right, so let's talk Motshelo.
Alright.
Have you ever been in a Motshelo, and what was your experience? What was your intention, number one, and what was your experience?
I've been in one, I'm still in one. Ours was it's just a family thing. It's not really like anything deep and complex. It's just to up my savings just for the year.
All right, so why don't you use like a bank or something?
Okay,
What is the reason why you want to do it through a Motshelo? Because if you're saving like a 500, you can still do that at a bank and then do your 12 installments, and then in December, you get your money.
okay, from a different and a broad perspective, right? One, the idea behind Motshelo is not just about saving. The idea is it's a community thing. It's community driven. It's meant to bring people closer. It's more than it's a social thing, right? You know how like grown folks would be talking about that meeting at Masarametsi's house for Motshelo meeting, da 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 da.
Okay.
It's not just about the money aspect at that level. It's about they have it's a social event, right? So one aspect of it is that. Two, it sort of eliminates flexibility it sort of eliminates flexibility to your savings, right?
Okay.
In that way that it contains you, that you should be more strict. You don't default on savings. You know how you'd say, I'm going to save like 10% of my salary per month, but sometimes when you have commitments, you don't, right? So Motshelo became that commitment that you do every month. Like you can't miss like your normal savings account. So that oftentimes that's why people opt for it over a savings, right? Over a normal savings account.
All right, no, I get you. So you mentioned 2 points here. You mentioned how it's some sort of like a social club. You want to meet up with people and have
Yes.
have like conversations and drink. And
No, not
have
for
food or
me,
whatever.
but generally the idea behind it, not for me.
All right,
Yes,
I get it.
Yeah.
All right, so now this brings me to my second point of discussion. I wanted to talk about different types of Motshelos.
Yeah.
So from my opinion, or what I've observed, there's three kinds.
Yeah.
There's one where let's hella nang, like you guys are rotating.
Yeah.
Let's hella this month, let's hella olikaukwa and things like that.
Yeah.
And then the second type is where gona lo thing gape, gona lo e leng gore yaanong ra re kgobokanya madi ra isa sama kana ra buy
Yeah.
one person's account in
Yeah.
December. We're going to buy food or whatever we've
Or
decided to buy.
split
the
that amount,
money.
yeah.
And then the third one is an extension of the second one,
Yeah.
where we put money together, but then ra adimisa,
Yeah.
right? So there's three kinds,
Yeah.
where it's a cycle.
Yeah.
And then the second one, pulling of funds, writing it together to go buy something. And then third one is an extension. We're trying to get an interest out of
The whole, yeah.
the money we're putting together.
Yeah.
So which one do you think is superior out of the three, and why? And you think what is the risk versus the return?
Okay, first, the one where you guys rotate the funds. I think it's ideal when you have these short-term goals, right? Like earlier, I gave an example of how my former colleagues / friends, they went into one because they wanted to buy gadgets in the next 6 months. They wanted to buy a few things in the next 6 months. So they found that, even you mentioned in the previous episode that you got into one so that you can purchase a car, right?
Okay.
So the idea behind it is if you want to do something in the short term, then you'll be able to get like a large funds, large form of funds without interest, right? Without having to pay interest. It's like getting a loan, but now interest free, right? Source of funds without interest. And then the one where you pull funds together for like a common goal, the food one. Okay, the food one I have my opinions about it. I'm not really pro it because why are you saving the whole year just to buy food at the end of the
And then
year.
before you even continue, sorry to interject.
Yeah.
The people that do this, it's a rare case that doing this to go and eat the food in the next year.
Yeah.
So you're saving the whole year with some package that you December. So that doesn't make sense to me. You're not gonna eat a 12.5, it's a 5. It's a palish. That was a super monte. So you end up giving them out.
No, but I guess sometimes they buy like canned stuff, which they have a longevity in terms of shelf life.
Wait, are you saving the whole year for tax and little fish?
No, but that's the thing. That's what people do, right? My thing is, I can't
crazy.
do that. Like, if I'm to save my money for the rest of the year, it has to be for something else. Like for the rest of the year, only for you to just buy you to satisfy your needs. Like, why are you saving money for food at the end of the year in bulk?
When either way you're still doing that throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, I get the idea that obviously they get some sort of what do you call that? I guess because you'll be buying in bulk, there's some form of discounts to it, right? You'd get more food for lower. But the time value of the money as well, like you've been saving for a whole year, 12 months, just to get groceries that might last you for like max 6 months.
True, but also then I take it back. I think there are times where maybe people back at home, you want to have them taken care of for a period of time.
Yeah.
So probably how is it said they can last them a couple of months and then you can like forget about them for a bit.
Yes.
So that's sorted out. So I take it back. I think earlier. Like it's like
Yeah.
It
No,
makes sense
yes.
anyway.
No, but my thing is, for me, it's not what I would want. But from that perspective, yes, it gives you like a leeway to like provide for your family. Let's say, or when you have multiple extended family, how you relay that whole Motshelo thing. You'll be able to buy you buy food in bulk and then you can give to different extended families.
Yeah.
But then again, still with the same one, where now you pull funds together and you have interest at the end of the year, you can still do the same thing, no?
Yeah, true.
But
True.
now you have don't just buy the food. Now you have the money, excess cash as well to do other things. So I'm pro the money one over the food one because it's like no.
But then also the food one, even after December, you know, so I don't in real time.
That's
in real time.
yes. That's the thing as well. I feel like if you the whole point of it is so that you can just save and save on discounts, then you can just buy the food December for your family members and extend it to buy them the food in bulk. Not you guys buy the food in bulk and then really and then you're left with nothing, just you can as a text and so
Yeah, true. So you're for the second option, which is pulling off funds for
yes, the way you pull funds and then it comes with a little bit where you guys sort of give out the money for interest, right? So at the end of the year, you don't only have the money you contributed to it, but you also have a little bit of interest. At that with that in place, you have a little bit of excess funds.
Okay, makes sense.
So if you're to now you want to bump up your savings, your savings will be in a better space at December. Or also you have you know how people spend a lot in December, how generally we spend a lot in December. You'd have a little bit of more to spend in December compared to if you were not part of any Motshelo.
All right, true. So now I want us to talk about the risk versus the return. I understand that you're saying it's superior because also you make money that you wouldn't have ideally made if you had put your money in a fixed savings account.
Yeah.
Right? Because you guys are probably missing at like 25%.
Yeah.
So now there's like a higher return, but I want us to talk about the risk there. Because in my opinion, I feel like if I spent my money and I did not save it, I'll always feel better than if I was trying to make money.
Yes, but
like it gives me so much solace. You know what I mean? But if I give you my money and when now no,
but
you know what I mean?
But you have to take into account that with every risk, The more you increase the return, the more you increase the risk. I get it. If you're to opt for a normal like fixed deposit, right? I guess about my 6% max, right?
Somewhere there.
But now with Motshelo, we're talking about 25 to 35, right? It all depends on the members of the group. I get it. How Nzalo, you have more, right? So the risk return, dog. Risk return. So that's where we're at, right?
So you're still going for the 1 year long, or you guys pull funds and then Ebela Jimmy's and then make more money and then December you guys split. So you feel like the risk is worth the return.
Oftentimes the risk is worth the return.
So why don't you do it alone? What's wrong with doing it alone or by Jimmy? So why should you bring people together? Is it still part of the social element or what is it all about?
One, the social element. Two, you just got yourself accountability partners. Right. You just got multiple accountability partners because if that 1 month we should really, somebody will call you, hi Walter, how far, right? Had it been your savings account, no one is going to ask you why haven't you saved. You just no, that was a rough month, and then you just continue. But with that, with people with having multiple participants, they will keep you accountable, right? And also the collection, like how see, you have a day job, you can be busy. Collecting can be a bit difficult, right? Now when you have other people, what this is people's money as well, right? It's not just your money. They will keep you accountable. So now you have to collect, right? Because it's not just your money, it's other people's money as well.
All right, fair point. So now in conclusion, I want you to tell me, so are you saying that a young person who has like a surplus 2K per month, is that a worthwhile investment to pull funds together with maybe people they share things in common with, maybe their friends, their close friends, close circle, and then pursue this whole thing of trying to pull funds together by like a Radimi Samadi, because that sector there's always someone that's looking for money month in, month out.
Yes, the thing is, I think it's worth it because one, the interest rates are higher than most institutions, right? So it gives you a leverage, and you're able to have like a surplus savings at the end of the year. Also, I think there's one other Motshelo that I recently, it's sort of modernized. What people will do is that they will pull funds with the aim of having some sort of a project or an investment at the end of let's say a tenure of 10 years, right? So they would pull funds and then put it in some sort of a financial institution. I don't know why I keep on saying institute. Yeah, institution. And then at the end of the period, they would start the project. I think that one is a really good. It's there, and then the savings one, and then obviously this the rotating one is like 3 is the lowest, but the food one being
At the bottom of the food chain.
yes.
But anyway, so now I want to ask you something. You said a very interesting thing, and then the other day I had on a podcast. Some other podcast, I don't know which one. So they were saying, it's actually a local podcast. They were saying that there's like a Motshelo thing they're doing. There's a lot of businesses, they come together. And then now, no housing scheme. And then buy houses for their members. So I don't know how that would work. You own a portion of the house. I don't know if now, and as much as we own the houses, no one will ever live in it. We're going to rent out this house and then get rentals from it. Like, how does it work when you own a portion of an asset that's meant to be owned by a single individual? I don't know if I'm making sense. A house ideally you'd want it to be owned by one person that has full control over it. Now the 5A, like
you are aware
what
of,
is the
of a consortium. Are you aware of a consortium?
What is that?
So basically it's people pulling funds together. It's a crowdfunding sort of thing with the common goal. And oftentimes the common goal clearly investment property, right?
Okay.
So with that regard is that they pull funds together, sort of invested in like where they can make a little bit of interest. But the goal is not really much interest, but they can get interest. The common goal here is pull enough funds so that they start a project, as I've mentioned, right? So it's similar to what you're saying. Now, to make it easier now, for you to now run it efficiently would be and effectively would be registered as a company, right? If you have like 5 people that are contributing the same amount towards the thing, right? And then now you guys have this amount of X amount of money at the end of the period, and you invested into that property, like saying the house. And the house, you guys are registered as a company, right? When you guys are registered as a company, you guys own a property. You are a shareholder in in investment property company.
Oh.
Yes. So it's a bigger. It goes on to say that now you own one house, you can own multiple now, right?
So basically, the whole point of this is to never live in the house. You guys are gonna rent this house out and then share the rentals. Because
Yes.
no one got hale own and live five. Live five in thing.
Yes.
So the whole point is to get rental income because you guys can never live in the house.
The idea behind that is investment property, it's investment because either there was I think one of the companies that I've encountered before, they did that with the goal of they did a whole consortium with the goal of, I think they bought a mall or something, right?
Okay, interesting.
No, obviously it's a bigger company, but it was like they pulled funds together for a couple of years and they bought a mall, right? So the goal, even with the ones who bought a house, is to scale up with as years goes on, right? Yeah.
Right. All right, that's interesting. So, because I'm of the opinion, like I said earlier on, that the only way to create, not the only way, because the only way it's very restrictive and everything, but the major way of making money is if you're creating new value. So I want to understand that you're saying that if someone has surplus funds, in conclusion, it is okay, it is a fair thing to pursue as more of like a business thing. Got to really be like the average returns of the businesses we start up and a Motshelo business. We're saying that one way of creating value, right, new value so you can make money is through your like, is it a lucrative thing to pursue as opposed to like trying to have a new business idea and trying to pursue it? Is it a safer option? And then also looking at the average returns of startups, so number 2000, it's a long into something, maybe here, there.
Yeah.
Are we saying it's a fair thing to pursue?
I think it's lucrative for people who don't want. Thing is, entrepreneurship is not. Not many people are built for it. Not many people have the stomach for it, right? Obviously, when you want to, if you want to pursue entrepreneurship, you have to be all in and right? But if you prefer like a little bit of safety and you don't want much struggle, it's like a little bit of passive income, then it'll be a better option to opt for. And it's given good for people who are like in the informal sector where not many financial institutions recognize you as a not many financial institutions recognize you. So Motshelo would be that platform for you, and you'll be able to make money from that thingy.
All right, interesting. So as Walter had said, it's a way of creating your value. So go for it. So I 2K really
Yeah.
and you get a piece of the pie in the micro lending business.
Yeah.
Right. So now I want us to talk about a success story at the mall.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention this by name, but there's been a project where people are trying to pull funds.
Yeah.
Nele project there, Mai in agriculture. I think Nele Mai, we don't want to mention anyone's name. We don't have the money for it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to get to, what I was alluding to. So I want to understand what caused that thing to fail. It was one of those things like crowdfunding, things like that. Why did it fail? Because I always feel like where there's a lot of people, it's hard to find common grounds.
How many people were involved?
A lot of people, because if you're trying to buy like Djibouti, Namibia, you guys need to be a lot.
Yes.
Because let's say 1,000 thing, yes, it ends up being like a lot of money, but ideally 1,000 will not get you that quality goat alone. Or with a lot owner, patia boot. Right, because the normal goats are on like 1.2 right now. So if you're getting like the good ones from Namibia, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now that's what I was getting to. Where does this thing fail? You're pulling off funds because we end up being greedy. Funds 10,000 to borrow every month. What if it's 1 million? It's greed. We're never satisfied. We keep trying to grow it and grow it and grow it and grow it. So now, why did this one fail? If it's a kahoreng, but 1,000, it was a big thing trending on social media.
But okay, now I'm not familiar with the story, but what was the goal the objective?
The goal was to end up having like a lot of eggs. Tse leng gore di supply. I get it, usually these things are monopolized. We tell one company can supply mongwe le mongwe mai.
Yeah.
Right? They were trying to be a competitor of this monopoly.
Yes.
Right? Because and they can compete with them and benefit from the same economies of scale as them. Right?
So were they trying to, were they approaching it as saying that they're trying to buy eggs as entrepreneurs, as business owners, or what?
Okay, so the guy had a farm. A ba re ya ka nna ke na le farmwana.
Yeah.
Re batla gore re nne le mae a le mantsi.
Yeah.
Re kgone go compete le the bigger supplier.
Yes.
Re kgone go supply bo Spar, re kgone go supply bo Shoppers, re kgone go supply even the schools.
Yeah, yes.
Right? But ga ke le one, I can't be able to do that because I don't have the muscle to be able to supply Choppies on a regular basis. Ke gona le mae le one season e be ke tima. So Choppies needs mae from time to time. Ga re le bantsi yana would be able to have chickens tse ile gore di na le mae da rotate ka moso yana e beilele ka moso go ba ele ka moso eng. They were trying to benefit from the same economies of scale as the bigger monopoly.
Yes.
Right? So yana ba re tlang kono re nne le farm tle ba na le dipudi re na le dikokodi ba mae. This thing was a total failure. I'm surprised you don't know about this. What's Facebook?
Okay, my thing. Okay, this is my thing, right? I feel like when you crowdfund, right? Or it depends on the one. It will depend on the scale that you want to go for. If you're going for a larger scale, or you're trying to like get like number of like 100K people, right? If you're trying to get 100K people, and they're contributing the same amount, right? It shouldn't be about giving them money, or it shouldn't be about like taking them as shareholders, right? I think it could be a situation whereby we are building this thing, like what do they call them? I forgot the name. Yeah, we are building this thing. Let's say it's for the eggs, right? We are building this platform where all our members now are able to get like subsidized costs, right? So it's to create a platform where we benefit, not because if we was to say the dividends, and we have all of us, we have equal shares, right? It will be sort of pointless. Yeah, no, if we look at Hare, or when we approach it with the objective, no, the objective is not to just the objective is to do this so that we can get a bulk of it, and we as business owners under this initiative will benefit then sharp, because I don't know if what all of them are trying to benefit from, or let's say it's a borehole, right? A bunch of farmers drill their own borehole for clean water, watering whatever plants, right? They crowdfund, and with time they able to build a borehole, maintain it with the crowdfunding. Now, what they're benefiting from collectively from the water, not the business, not the borehole. Maybe it will be like some sort of a thing. The costs of the borehole.
Let me understand you there.
Yeah.
We like have a little loose conglomerate.
Yes.
And then what happens go gore stand pipe
Yes.
But I saw gora gore ya no bo ho le rekisa metsi re kgaogana metsi a yone kana
re kgaogana di profit is a metsi a teng. It just makes our lives easier and our businesses to run better. If at all they were saying day old
chickens.
Yeah. If they were saying they're buying day old chickens,
but
in bulk,
as one,
and then how it's a whole, now that they bought it as one entity again, and then how about the whole they sell to now their members at a lower cost than the benefit is. Then yes,
that's
then compared to like what they would have bought from the competitors, then they did save costs. Highly profit sharing.
It becomes a bit shady.
Yeah, because there's a large number of people. So large number of people that it's not easy to control them. Usually they don't have like proper controls in place. There's no like formal management in place. It's usually people volunteering. So people volunteering, how about extending their efforts like that, right? Only limitations. But while we're all benefiting in an equal way, then that's the way to go about it.
I like what you mentioned because I'm also for loose conglomerates. I think I've told you about the whole model that I tried proposing to you. If you can pose as one,
Yeah.
le kgone go benefit from each other and
Yes.
like it makes life much easier. But then I don't know if this one would have worked good. Maybe mongwe le mongwe ka ba tshwere dikoko tsa gagwe ba hapa nna go isa mae. Once so it's like a supply chain.
Exactly, yes. Could be go either way. Could you just establish like what are the objectives of your particular project? Let's say you could just say they would pull funds together monthly, and then about we're doing a farmers market, right? And then the farmers market, it would be a platform. They would obviously hire a venue, bring up stalls for all of them. Now all of them are benefiting from that farmers market. I get it from the goal now is to create a platform for all of them. The pulling of funds is not to make money, but to like create value for all the members underneath. I think that will be the ideal way to go about it.
Fair point. I totally understand you. Lastly, before you move on to the next discussion, I want to understand how good putting yanong e leng gore ka 1,000 either way no ka score for the pudi eo. But I think the goal here was gore ga kana di pudi, as much as you own a quarter of a goat, as this thing grows, you end up owning a goat.
Yeah.
As this thing regenerates profits, we reinvest the profits into the business. Hela yalo. What like hello owner pudi. Me gona na owner le bogola pudi.
That doesn't sound right, but continue. Yes.
Yeah. So nela khanya gore as this thing grows,
Yeah.
you'll end up owning a goat. But then it ended before it could grow to that point. Ka 1,000 then o ka ske nele pudi ono ya quality.
Yes.
So yeah, and I don't know if in that situation, however, this one would never work because it needs time and patience. Do it whatever, and then just I guess this thing gives birth. That's another way. And then we all have a goat, and then next thing we all have 2 goats, and then it's supposed to be a long-term thing.
Yes.
So I guess would that one work? Does it make any business sense for crowd
so that
thing?
you eventually own a goat?
So that you eventually own a goat.
I think
it's not an immediate thing.
it's just one is about really stipulating the objectives from the get-go. Right? My perspective is that it would have been more ideal if we're saying we're buying the goats or we're buying cattle from country X because they have superior meat quality. Now the goal is to crossbreed with ours. Right? We already have the Botswana. Now we want to crossbreed for better quality. Then we have access to from what Texas or whatever, right? Yeah. So with those from that country, from that state, we'll be able now to crossbreed with I have access to the crossbreeding section of the whole crowdfunding thing, initiative or cooperative or what. The other member has, you are a member, you have. So producer now the goal is we want to improve the quality of the cattle that we have more really member, and then with time they are improved because now the crossbreeder that's when it's already regular.
My baby, wait, what do we have those ones? They're just for mating purposes.
Let's
just
say
take your cows randomly there, let's go and mate or something.
No, not mate. I got the artificial insemination.
Okay, mixes.
So yes. So if everybody crossbreed rotely. This season my cattle heating whatever. Now I produce when now as our rotary real but there is a quality called okay.
So what happens now when I've gotten enough whatever thing for artificial insemination and I want out? Once there is no out.
No, that's it goes to saying like we need to stipulate what's on the constitution and other thing I get. We need to stipulate like the agreement and the objectives and how the whole thing operates. Before we start pulling our funds, so that you know what this is what you're signing up for. Are you willing to leave, and what happens when you leave? What happens when you die? Who yeah, all that.
All right, makes sense.
Yeah.
So now, before you move on to the regulation around Motshelo as to what can be done to regulate it better, because a lot of value can be generated from the concept of Motshelo.
Yeah.
I want us to know, because we extended, the third option, pulling of funds together and then try to invest it in something and gain a return from that.
Yeah.
So what about number 1 and number 2? So there's no other way of making it better to create better value. I get this is how we can do it so that we can get better value.
Yeah.
So the first one was go circulate this month gets madi, next month what's our madi. So that one there is no room for growth for that type of Motshelo. Kana yang ya dija kere gore there's no
No, yo, it's something really subjective.
yes, okay. The third we have covered too actually.
We've covered the long-term one, with crowdfunding, what? It's slightly relative.
So that one is similar to the one for food.
Yeah.
That is where it gets better now. It's better than a 6% at a bank.
Yes.
Or whatever. So it's a one actually. It's either this month or no, it's either that month. So there's no room for growth.
No, I think all of them have room for growth. Let's say it's the interest one. I get it. The interest one, you could easily, like, let's say you've been doing it for a while. Even though now, if we're to now formalize it, the cost of compliance can be a bit hefty, right? I get it. If you've been doing it for a while, you can say, okay, now this thing has been working for us. Now let's pivot it and make it a small cash load, a pawn shop, whatever. Like, yes, now it becomes like a whole organization now that's really based on.
What's the third one? What about the first one? You want to tell this month, we go tell next month, you want to tell us mama next month. Is there room for growth there? Can I
Yo, it's just good. I think
accountability. I
don't think I think it's ideal for short-term goals.
Oh, okay.
Not like longevity wise, you can't really say it's sustainable. If I'm saying what I get this year gets hella when hell, and then next year what if you die next year?
It's just the risky thing.
No, what is the risk? I think it's up there, right? It's really up there. But hella, I think, it's good for short-term goals, I think. And usually people use it for short-term goals. In our this month, or 2 months, it's never like the period, what they know. This period it just depends on now how you as an individual use your money. The goal of it is so that you get a lump sum. You get a lump sum this month, skip 2-3 months, get another lump sum. In a year, all the quarters you got a lump sum. Now how do you now utilize it and invest it in your projects?
All right, fair point. So now we go back to the next discussion. Where there's a risk now, it's where there's a problem, it's an opportunity to solve it and create value for someone and make money from that. So where there's a risk, there's actually an opportunity for insurances to pitch in and say, we can have products that would sell and help people because we'll gain a bit of, we're creating value for those people. Now it's more secure. And then that benefiting, and then we also benefit a bit of cash.
Yes.
So now I want to understand what would it take. Are there products in the market? I know it's something that we haven't really talked about previously. It just came to my head. In terms of like risk and everything, is it possible for insurances to have like bespoke products for the Motshelo? Because and try to maybe because the regulation, and I think it will be there NB4 or maybe micro lens or whatever. But what about side insurances? Are insurances willing to take up such a risk? Are they willing to insure or create bespoke products for the smaller players in the market, in the micro-lending space?
I mean, I think, so if we're saying that usually insurance would kick in where there's like formal controls in place, right? And it's formalized.
Okay.
It only makes sense that way, right? So if you to pivot it and make it formal and you go through all the compliance, I'm sure insurances will be able to jump in and say this is how we can help you with the risk. Because now, if nothing is documented and the insurance company just comes through and you start paying premiums, it just becomes really difficult to deal with undocumented stuff. And I don't even think I haven't gone through anything, but I don't even think that's something that NB3 will be in line with. That they're just ensuring something which isn't documented. It has to be formalized. When it's formalized, then insurance companies can easily jump in.
All right. No, that makes sense. So yaanong ga go itse gore Motshelo o na le insurance yaanong and then we're registered with the NBF, right? It's documented, it's everything.
yeah.
Are people now going to have an incentive to return the money knowing that Motshelo space people are now insuring? Do people now have the motive to return the money? Kana ba re batla ntshala morago
Yeah, I agree the whole the model ya ntlha hela go thing. You still follow the initial model. Yeah, but so it's fine, reinsured. No, but I think we still because the more you claim from the insurance, your premiums might go high, all that, right? So no, you just because of your risk it level you go to me as well. But no, I think you still use the same model, but now in a bit more formalized route. Because I mean, it's just to say, no, you are eliminating the risk or reducing the risk of people defaulting.
Okay, no, makes sense. Because kana di kgang tsa insurance le tsone jingalo because now no. But I get you, it's a fair point. But then also, I think having this kind of discussions, they pave way for our future discussions. Or let's say now we have someone from insurance, they can tell us
Would they be able to, or willing to
take up such a risk.
Yeah, to take up that risk.
At what premium and what will be the controls around it? Because I've also looked at the livestock industry in Botswana, where people that are into farming.
Yeah.
But then if there was to be something, a natural disaster to happen, no one has insured their cattle because there's like, 15 or 10 on a.
Yeah.
So what would be wrong with having like an aggregator insurance? It's in your farmers by 10 and they have enough cows and now they're registered with whatever insurance. So I just want to, but it's a conversation ahead of the future.
Not formalizing and then I haven't looked into that. Probably I think for the ones who are commercialized, then obviously there is insurance for commercial ones.
Yes, but what about the 15-15-15 one? What's wrong with building a loose conglomerate? Like I've been saying, this is a very powerful model to gain from economies of scale. Halele Banks is not the same as when you are alone.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But anyway,
I think obviously some form of documentation and it will require a level of form of documentation and what you call this, there has to be certain level of compliance as well. Then I think Haronzalo insurance can easily get involved.
All right, interesting. I think before we move on to the next discussion, I think in conclusion, I think Motshelo is a very powerful model, but I think what's lacking in the system, it's an intermediary that makes it easy for people. Or I'm just going to give you a quick example. In banking, there are lenders, there are borrowers. Banking forms an intermediary and makes things easier for people. Right? So even a Motshelo at smaller scale is a smaller banking thing. So I feel like an intermediary is needed there. Someone can benefit from connecting these two things and then being the middleman and making it secure for everyone. Adding insurance, adding for the smaller players. It's a very powerful model.
At the Motshelo already you're the one who's the intermediary are the members. You know that, right?
That is true. But you know what the problem is? You cannot leverage on things like insurance. You can't leverage on certain things because but someone is building I built that intermediation thing. And then there's like proper controls here and people don't have to worry about deciding I don't know. It's a very powerful model.
No, I think if I'm not sure if banks and what do you call financial institutions and insurance have really tapped into it. But I think it'll work. Whereby now they're going out of their way to facilitate. They already have the saving, the accounts. It's about Motshelo. They already have. There's already something in place right now. I'm not sure if it goes on to like now sort of eliminating the risk. By default.
I get your point, but the banking thing will never give you the same benefits as a Motshelo. Going back to our point. So you want to give people the same benefits. say you're still going to get your 25% interest, but maybe that intermediary is getting that 3% commission, and then still you're getting your 23% interest. This is your banking at 6%. So we need that player. Because I feel like a lot of times we miss this opportunity. Say, there are smaller players in the market, but about formalize things, and then you earn a commission.
Yes.
If it can just be that glue that sticks these things together. Go insurance, how can I insurance? I define my hell over copanya hela or by insure premium. If you're that intermediary, they can't do it alone. They need an intermediary that's formal and everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what I could
Also, basically, like getting multiple Motselos together.
Something like that.
And
but
then,
it needs to be formal.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyways, it's a discussion for our next discussions. I was just like, that's are my concluding statements. But it's a powerful model. So what are your concluding statements before you move on to Black Friday? That's fast approaching.
Yeah.
What are your concluding statements, Motshelo, and what do you think about them?
No, I think Motshelo is a great initiative. I think Botswana should keep at it. I think Africans should keep at it. It's something we've built, and it brings us together. Even though it comes with the drama, it's a hot thing. You just but I think it's a good initiative. Yeah.
All right, interesting. So moving on to our next discussions. So Black Friday is fast approaching. So I want us to have a discussion around this. Is it a real thing? And it's just a fallacy. Black Friday,
Yeah.
So I want you to tell me, have you ever bought something on Black Friday and thought this was worth it? Because
I think from my perspective as a finance professional, I think Black Friday, from my observation as well, most of it is the goods that are considered slow moving. The inventory that is considered like I benefit because I'm slightly bigger, so I'd get into a store. And most of the stuff that's there, like it's about 50% off. Get the oversized, get the XXL.
Right.
It didn't take no, so that's how I'd benefit, right? That's how I'd benefit. Usually they push stuff that hasn't been selling up there, and then they say Black Friday, Black Friday, Black Friday.
You're right.
So it's. Oh, I think somebody in retail might want to add more on this, but from what I've seen, it's not usually like maybe Black Friday back then, but ever since I've been a young working adult, I've seen that Black Friday just on a few things, and most of those things are the slow moving items.
Right. And then also to the viewers out there, we're going to be having an episode on Black Friday, and we're going to be having different retail stores to come and talk about what products they have on Black Friday. What is their the top products that will be on Black Friday, and what is the discount on those? We want us to just have a discussion around Black Friday. So if you're a retail store, you're seeing this, you're in marketing department, reach out.
Reach out so that you really correct me on what I said. It's slow moving. Convince the viewers that indeed it's not slow, because now I've seen it slow. I don't know about the food ones. The food ones is different, but from clothing, it's never like anything new.
Clothing is never anything. Like, let me tell you something. It's just on Black Friday. I've went to. There was a time I used to do what's a Black Friday, like when I was in tertiary.
Go for them. Go for the sales.
Go for them. And stuff like that. And then I realized that in shops, if you're not a very small person, and a very big person,
yes,
there's no deal.
In between.
It's the normal clothes on a day-to-day basis. Let selling Mr. Price or any other shop.
Exactly.
The only clothes that are on sale is the big size clothes or the smallest sizes. Yes. You're not gonna find clothes. There's nothing for you there.
So now that's why I'm saying I've benefited from it, and I've seen these are not really the most like the most selling products, because
they never go on Black Friday.
There are not many people who are XXXL, right?
True. And then also, I think businesses take advantage of Black Friday to run the loss leader concepts.
Yeah.
the loss leader concept, if I have something cheap in the store, you're already in the store, you've saved money for this day, you might end up picking something in the store that is not on special.
Yes.
You bought that one ugly thing, it's like 50% off, but now you're already in the shop.
You will
might
get
end up
something
something
else.
because you have saved money for this day. So I think it's a loss leader concept that rules Black Friday, because every other business wants to make money. Why would you want to be the king of Black Friday? What is the incentive for you as a business owner? Nike king of Black Friday, get that 50% off when you're not gain a return on this. I'm paying a rent at a mall.
Yeah.
You know?
So it triggered a lot of impulse buying.
It triggered a lot of impulse
It triggered
buying.
a lot of. My thing about Black Friday is if you wanted to buy a pair of shoes and let's say it's 2,000 right, and you've been having the amount, but set aside for 2,000, you're going to buy a pair of shoes, and then when you get there, you find them like 1.7 or whatever. Right, that's when you benefited from Black Friday. But how not saying you didn't have any? What you just passed by a mall and you saw a big post of the Black Friday and then you get there, you find a pair of sneakers, get 1.7. How did they went from 3,000? You're like, oh no, you get them, and then you realize, oh, you just spent 1.7. How I save? How I want to know? You just saved 1.3. No, you didn't save anything.
True.
The person who actually saves is the one who had already committed the fund, saying, okay, that's what I'm going to use to buy my shoes, right, for this month or for this year, whatever. Yeah.
So now this goes into the next discussion before we move on to the next segment of the show. So I want to ask you something. So now we've been talking on a perspective, a consumer, from the lens of a consumer. As a business owner that you aspire to be at some point, how would you do a Black Friday if you owned a retail store? You're still paying your fixed overheads. The salaries your employees are not on Black Friday. It's not 50% off.
Yeah.
You're still going to pay them in full. You still have that stock that you need to push. How would you better do a Black Friday for your inventory?
Obviously, the first initiative would be the slow moving. The slow moving, most likely they're not going to be bought in the next couple of months, right? And then rigorous marketing. Make sure that everyone who scrolls through TikTok, Facebook, they see that there's a Black Friday at your store. Make sure that they are aware of it. But even if they don't want to buy anything, they'll literally be forced to, and make it what's easy and convenient, that you can even go to an extent of delivering, right? Some people say, I can't make it to Black Friday because I'm at work. No, make it easier. That person can just drop on a cart and then drop. Yeah, make it like that. Go to push it on the people's mind so much that into their mind subconsciously, so much that they want to be part of the action. They want to save on deals.
So this is the time that where you don't have a web platform.
Yeah.
You can like do thing.
Yes.
And then put your products there, and then people put it in a cart. When someone buys and pays, you put it away out of stock, and then someone can come and collect it at a later date because they've already paid.
Yes.
You've made it convenient for
Create
people.
platforms where they can either pay and you save them for them, or instant delivery without or you cut off costs, or you sort of reduce costs for delivery, or just
So they collect the next day when the thing has simmered down.
Because I guess some people want anxiety of going through the mall when there's a lot of people. Some obviously, it's a working day. You're at work. You don't want to miss work because you want to go check specials at TV, right? So make it such a way that even those at work, they get on the Black Friday action.
All right, interesting. So the last discussion, I think we're running out of time now.
Yeah.
The last discussion that I want to ask you is going to be a two-part question.
Yeah.
So number one, what do you think of unethical marketing on Black Friday?
Yeah.
December dija 10 bula.
Aye.
Make a Black Friday where I take 2 for 20 bula. And then also, if I hike up my prices the month before Black Friday, and then on Black Friday I say 20% off and take it to the original price, what do you say to unethical marketing?
And then it's 50% off.
So what do you say to unethical marketing?
Hush.
And then number two, before you even answer, number two is that I want us to talk about the Black Friday savings. I know it's very far-fetched, but a leave day, if you're taking leave at work for Black Friday, that is the money you could have encashed at the end of your contract or whatever. So if you take one day off and you compare it with the savings, right, and the fact that you're going to be at a crowded area, risking your car, getting crashed or whatever, right? So I want you to tell me, doing a quick cost-benefit analysis, is it worth it for someone that's working and taking a leave off work? And then number two, unethical marketing.
Okay, one, is it worth it? It depends. Did you save for it? Did you have the funds ready for it? Did you have funds committed to it? If it's just impulse buying, then no. If you had the funds committed to it, let's say you have a 10,000 bullet, I'm gonna buy a TV this month, and then similar TV or same model is 8,000. Yes, you save 2,000. I get it. But now taking a leave, taking a leave is a little bit thingy. One happy depends on how much you earn per day. Also, yes, that's a contributing factor, honestly. Because how about daily rate, like how much we saved. How about daily rate, like how much. I know how well 200 difference. Oh, how am I be 200? How about and then the unethical marketing thingy. I don't have much because it will depend on the consumer act there. So I know then usually they will take advantage if there's nothing on it. And then Obana will buy two for I've seen a store that sells, I think, usually hygiene products. I think you're familiar with it. Most women want to go for it. I went there. I fell into the trap actually. So three, and then buy three and get the third one for the low. Get the third one.
Get the third one
free.
free.
The third one with the lowest price free. Bro, I got tricked into buying stuff, and I was like, yeah, nah. That was great. That's incredible marketing, right? Because I went there with one thing, one goal in mind. I'm gonna get this thing, and I'm leaving. So I think it's as long as obviously, but they would just work around the numbers. When you tell save 5 from the whole buy 3, that's what they do usually.
I know the ship you're talking about, so I don't know if. Because when I buy from them, I usually buy in-house products because I have a child, so it's usually like nappies, buy 3, get the last one for free. So I can't really make a comparison. I can show you because usually it's an in-house brand. So there's
how is you compared it with any other store? Let's say for similar nappies.
For similar nappies, if it's an in-house brand, you usually have a lower price. Ideally, originally, so I don't know whether I'll be saving or not. But I buy them all the time because of this third one free. I'm just waiting for it.
I know. So I can. It works. I'm not gonna lie. It works.
All right. In the previous episodes, we've spoken about business and the business landscape generally in Botswana. But a lot of times when I'm speaking to Walter, we have a lot of failed ventures, so we don't understand what exactly is on the ground. So today we've engaged Kyle Sabone, who will introduce himself and the businesses he's involved in to get better insight. So in our next episodes also we're better informed. Welcome to the show, Mr. Sabone.
Thank you guys for hosting me. Appreciate it.
All right, tell us more about yourself and what you do.
All right, I'm a braai man. That's one thing that I want to make clear every day, right?
Yeah.
I'm a braai man. That's the first thing that people should know me as. Because that is the one thing about me that I made for myself. I taught myself, and I didn't need any qualification to do it.
Yeah.
On qualification, I'm a journalist and a communications expert.
Yeah.
And then I fell into the trap of being an entrepreneur. Not out of will, but obviously sometimes you think you're just born to not like taking instructions from a lot of people sometimes. Then I ended up becoming an entrepreneur because I felt along the way, someone is doing this, but I could do it without having to take his instruction because his instruction is based on what he thinks works for them. Then I ended up being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
All right, interesting.
Yeah.
So are you able to share with us your entrepreneurial endeavors? Like, are you into writing? What else are you into?
Okay, so I've done a lot of things in my lifetime. I think when I finished my schooling and I came back to Botswana, I discovered that, I fell into a job because it was automatic. I was studying, had a good relationship with the owner of the university, Lemko Queen, and the whole business there. So I came in straight into a job. And the good thing with working for them was that the old man was very clear with me at the beginning. He said, Kyle, I know you have a mind of an entrepreneur. I'm not going to block you. but just go and work because it helps you gain insight of how a business operates. And I was lucky he gave me an opportunity to go and start in the operations department first, where I was working as operations manager for Limkokwing for a while. And then along the way, I then said to him, look, I want to change my path. I'm a communications person. Can I go and teach communications, film, and journalism? And he said, okay, no, go there. Where do you want to start? I said, no, I want to start at the lowest level of the institution in that faculty, which is just being a lecturer. So I went to start as a lecturer. And then a year later, one meeting, I don't know what happened, I was moved to become a faculty manager, right? And not even a year, it was about 6 months or so.
Yeah, man.
So,
Okay.
so I had, employment-wise, I had it easy.
Yeah.
I could get a job. At the same time, I could buy things, sell, try this and that, do events there and there to try and go into entrepreneurship space. And bend a lot of fingers, but I had the cushion of salary, one or the other. I can do this, make a mistake, I'll go back to job, to work, and make sure that my job pays back whatever the differences are. But what I've learned about entrepreneurship is that if you don't fail at something at the start, your failures are going to be bigger in the future.
Wow.
Because if you see you're starting and it just goes, just know the devil is trapping you. You're going to fall into the deadliest failure trap you've ever come across. I failed at a lot of businesses. I did event management, I did communications, I did film, and I lost. I literally, sometimes I'll blame the fact that I work. Sometimes I say no, but working helps me run this business. Then in 2014, I moved to China to go and do my master's. That was me resetting. I said, I'm going to reset. So when the Chinese embassy published the scholarships, I rushed in, I applied, I got the scholarship. I moved to China for 2 years to do a master's. And while I was there, for me, yes, I studied, yes, I finished my schooling, but that is not why I went to China. I needed something to take me to China, and that school took me to China. I went through the whole of China. All right. My master's was not Chinese taught, it was English taught. So I went through the whole of China. I had to learn Chinese in the streets with the traders to understand what it was, from the food business to trade and all these things. And I learned one thing, there are things I'll never sell. I used to send bags to Botswana, shoes, and I realized, no, that's bad business. I would never sell bags and shoes. Literally, I would never sell products that go directly to women if I'm buying them. Women have a lot of choices. Yo, come on, 33-inch. Come on, 16-inch. Come on, no, 8-inch. And this is just hair.
Yeah.
So there's too many options, so they affect your trade. And selling clothes also is a big problem, unless you sell what is called one size fits all, which is Mrs. Seba said, and you're done. That's an easy product to sell because the size is going to fit anyone. But still, so I learned that the one thing I'll never do is trade in things that have options. Yeah, if we're in a bad country, I'll trade in pistols. They've got no options. It's a pistol, 12 rounds, that's it. You understand? So the same thing with, I went to tire factories in a place that, it's a tire show. So they sell, the whole county manufactures everything rubber. And car tires are cheap. You get a tire, let's say a Mazda 3 that you are buying here for about 700 pula, for way below 200 pula equivalent. But the problem is sizing. Do you want to sell for Mazda 3 only, but Walter drives a Mazda 3 was 17-inch. When you drive 14-inch? How am I going to stock that? Because the minimum order requirements were high. The people are still doing that and it's working for them. Trust me, it's working. You've got the money, it will work for you. But options and sizes are a big problem.
Yep.
So then when I came back to Botswana, I realized I'm not going to go back to work. I did not want to go back to work. I was very sure of that, including BTV. I was very sure I'm not going back to work. So I went to Joburg and then found myself inside a project that was starting a butchery, became a shareholder, built that butchery, it grew. But I became a foreigner along the way. You know what I mean. You become a foreigner in South Africa, you really are a foreigner. So sometimes you got to move out. Then came back home, opened Jera thing. And that was my first realistic venture that literally blew up in the first week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Literally. So then I was like, okay, sure. It goes there. So I dabbled into, but whatever I do, meat, I taught myself. Communications, I went to school for. So I'm qualified for it.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you've said a lot of interesting things. Before we move on to the actual discussion, I want us to tie back something to a concept or a discussion that I had with Walter in the previous episodes, because we're trying to tie down concepts. And now that there's like a business owner here, we're trying to stick it together, right? So the other day, if you remember, Walter, we talked about venture capital.
Yeah.
And then there's an economics podcast in Botswana, and there was a man who was talking about, he's also in the economic space and everything. He was saying that people with money should not be afraid to give like 20-year-olds who have business ideas, like compelling business ideas and business cases, right? Someone who's 23, wealthy people should not be afraid of being venture capitalists and giving them $1 million to go start up a business. And then I spoke to Walter and said that someone who has never worked does not know from the inside what makes a business work. I mean, you need those insights to be able to apply in your company or whatever endeavor whatever thing that you want to do. So I want you to speak to the fact that it's important to work before pursuing business. I want you to tell me that how important was it for you to work? Okay. Are there any key things that you took from that? And then what do you say to giving like 23-year-olds $1 million to go pursue a compelling business idea according to them? It's a two-part question. Your insights, the 23-year-old.
So it differs, right? For me, I needed to work because I'm not from a family that has ever done business. My father was an employee, all right? Okay. My mother didn't work. So I didn't know anything about business. I was never taught to learn business. Yes, I sold my quality biscuits and all those things at school, but I was never taught. And actually, we were discouraged in schools. So already the education system said to me, it's never going to happen for you. So that took away the confidence for me to say I can go into business because so the education system already is so rotten and bad at the time and not preparing me to do anything else except for go, I want to be a teacher. That is exactly what it programmed me for, you know? So there's a difference there. Me, humble home, Lubatsi, teachers, biscuits, sweets. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, Mwane goes to a different school, in a different city, let's say Gaborone, where the teachers, because it's a private school, the teachers don't care what you do. School fees are so there's no problem with it. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. They have learned it from then. Yeah. The second child is the child who was raised in a family where there's business. I grew up around Makula. A lot of them, Kulubatsi. You know, Kulubatsi is the capital of Makula. It's followed by Mulepololi. I'm sorry to use that word, but it's
I was about to say. I'm not
going to call them Indians because they're not all Indians. Some are Pakistani, some are from Palestine or whatever. So they're from different places. So Makula is a language we use. If it's derogatory in any way, I'm sorry, but it's what I grew up with. Right? So they are the capital of. I can't call them Indians. You see now where it goes wrong.
Let's just stick to Asians.
Yeah, you can't call them Asians also because Asians are including Chinese and continue. So a child who grew up in that family knows his father was selling car parts. His father owned Pakistan. His father owned Valu, and they were selling. And this child had to school takes him on drop a guy, go to calculator and they're learning business. A child like that, if I was a venture capitalist, I'd put the money on them. But a child like me, I would never put the money on them at 20 years or 19. I would never take that risk unless the child says, guide me with this, right? It's very important to work first for a child like me, right? Yep. The two different children here, or probably three. There's somebody who lose or win, it's going to work out for you. Right? So then others like me are from the private sector, humble private sector. Muditeng straight, Mokasi.
Yeah.
It's a different story. If you give me that money, I don't know it. If you remember the issue of check those people. In that group of people, you are going to find a guy like me. And you're going to find a guy whose father or mother was a public servant and it was easy for them. All right? But the child or the kids who were raised in a business family, they know what to do with that money. They know that money and they understand it.
Yeah.
So those are two different dynamics. All right? A child like me had to work first.
Yeah.
I had to learn what, first of all, registering a company meant. I'm very lucky because I came in with Limco Queen at the beginning. When I was still a student in 07, I still came to Limco Queen Botswana and I still helped with the whole process. So I knew gore bota e batlang, TC batlang, SIPA, then register of companies e batlang. So I learned that while I was working.
Yeah.
When Limco advanced into new brands like both CCC, I was there during the registration process. So I learned that. I learned who I need to employ and who I don't need to employ. You understand? I worked out why I need a receptionist and why I don't need a receptionist and so on. So I learned from the working environment. Yeah. Salaries must be paid, this must be paid. So I was, having been, especially in an operations department, for me was a lucky thing for me. Because that is where plumbing goes wrong, electricity goes wrong, people break in, security and so on. So that's me. That's the way the difference comes. So it's necessary for a child like me to actually get some form of an employment first, to be able to leverage that development from that employment.
Okay.
Interesting.
But that other child, that child knows what to do with money.
Yeah.
So, it depends on there's two types
So
of children.
we can't put one blanket across all this. We're not the same.
Okay.
My excitement when I got my first salary, you know what it was? Qualifying to get a loan.
Wait, you qualified on your first salary?
I mean, you get a salary. Morena, you get a salary. Do you know what it is? Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
On my first salary, remember that schemes?
Yes.
And scheme is you know how a scheme is doing bad things?
Yeah.
Those schemes are very bad things. Sorry to the banks. But
Yeah.
So there were schemes.
Yeah.
My letter of employment said permanent and pensionable.
Yeah.
I'm not a risk to the bank.
Yeah.
I'm going to qualify for that loan. So that's that exciting feeling of getting your first, just walking into a bank, sitting in that chair for a little bit, whilst the sales rep smiles. He's not smiling because they like you. They don't give a damn about you. They're smiling because, hey, my commission is coming.
Yeah.
So they were pushing to get that going.
Yeah.
So qualified for a loan. And I took it out of qualification. Then I said, I'm like, but wait. What am I doing with this money? And guess what? I don't know what I do with that money until this day.
Wait.
And I can tell you now, 10 years later, the repercussions of that loan are still sitting behind me.
Wait, what did you do?
That's the thing.
Did you buy
I was
a car?
excited.
Did you buy a
No.
house?
See,
Did you just-
I kind of got a car from home, a hand-me-down car from home,
Yeah.
which I then fixed with all of that money.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember what I did with the money. I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to lie to you, but I'm a very well-traveled person. But I don't want to...
So you traveled. So you went on vacation.
I traveled a bit, and I obviously fixed that car and got it going.
Yeah.
And then some of the money I bought some film equipment and so on that I was renting out to guys. You know what I mean? And then I bought a small little mini Pajero that I could rent out to guys as well.
Yeah.
And then started my racing habit. We used to race go Mupani Mosokwe. Fixed up ended up cancelling the parenting part, fixed that small Pajero just to force an engine in it so that I can race.
Okay. So money well spent.
No, not well spent.
Okay. No, but looking at one, the equipment part. I get it. You bought
Yeah,
the equipment.
I bought the equipment, yeah.
You fixed the car that you
Yeah.
to use to work every day, right? That takes. 3, you bought yourself a better experience. Like I think, well, as much as we always think about assets and investing, world traveling is good.
It opens up your mind.
I
and
bought
how-
myself a class.
Yes, it really opens up your mind. Okay, now that speaks on imagine you're saying your first salary you were able to qualify for a loan. Now that just speaks on like how times are differing now to a point that no, you go from first salary, affords you a loan to now first salary after 6 years affording you a loan.
No, it depends on how you're employed.
Yes.
If you're on contract, you might not be a very attractive customer.
Yeah, no,
It's not
they
even
said
about
that.
a contract. It's
about
about the salary.
figures, the salary.
That you can't afford to pay out any money from whatever amount you're taking home.
That's
O tswa ko mmerekong. Kore o sena go duela rent, go hedile ka wena.
But salaries are low.
But I think yes, I think that's in comparison to the previous years. Yes, they are relatively way too low, and also I think the most important part that I caught, besides the whole employment thing, is you said you had multiple field businesses, right?
Yeah.
Now with the multiple field, when did you get to a point? I think we once talked about field businesses. Now, when do you get to a point where you say that this business has failed, I'm going to put it away? When do you accept it? Or when do you just go, or do you just keep on going? What's the sign, the last sign that says, okay, now this business is done?
Kore the dilemma between never give up,
And
I'm close, and then this has failed, I need to move on.
yes.
Like, how do you
that,
balance the
yeah.
two?
So the weighting is always on how much is taken from you,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not talking about money only.
Yeah.
In terms of your time, right? In terms of even your health, just in general, your mental health. This people keep to don't give up. But sometimes some of us, we come up with ideas. And I think mine failed because I was always way ahead of my time.
Yeah.
You come in with an idea and it's like you're in Botswana and everyone is like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but sometimes to give up, it's not necessarily giving up. You've tried it, you've learned from it. And you are very sure this buying of things in Joburg and trying to sell is not going to work. I had a car that could do that. I fixed the car to do that, to buy things and sell. And you realize it's not going to work. In the long term, how much am I spending traveling up and down? When do I rest? And how soon am I getting paid? Because people don't necessarily pay. Not because they're bad people, because sometimes they don't have the money to pay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, the decision always comes when I see that here, this business is just going to drain me further. By the time it picks up, I'll probably be dead. You know what I mean? From stress.
Yeah.
And also, remember this, sometimes you start a business, Walter, and you are starting from a humble point of view, like I'm starting. The idea is brilliant, right? When I ask my mom, who's got this amount, copies that idea fast with the right cash injection that we didn't have at the beginning.
Yes.
And the connections.
And the connections.
Yes.
Because, come on, this is Botswana. So when they have those connections, you literally come in and say, okay, I'm starting an agency at my age and I'm going to be doing 1, 2, 3 for these businesses. I'm going to have this kind of cab that is metered, though metering was not in the law. I'm going to go for this. Someone else has got better money than you do, better connections than you do. They literally pick up that idea and they are gone.
Yeah.
And you realize that now you are chasing your own idea on someone else.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes there are many reasons behind it. Sometimes your health takes a toll on it, your time takes a toll on it, and you are losing money every day. When you're losing money every day, we are sinking into debt.
Yeah.
You need to realize then that this won't get me out of this debt that I'm going into.
Yeah, but quick one. There's a saying that when you originally had an idea first, right, the way you are most likely to implement it is better, and because you're the one who it originally belongs to, and also obviously it's in Africa. Corruption is there. It's out. Now, how do you navigate through all that corrupt practices that's happening and ensuring that you are able to sort of outwork and still stay relevant and become an entrepreneur while there's still corruption happening? Because it's something that happens every day. We're aware of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Guy, this is just my opinion and my own take,
Yes.
you know, and my own reading of life.
Yeah.
An idea is not necessarily yours.
Yes.
An idea is a living thing,
Yep.
right? It's a spiritual thing, all right? An idea comes to you because it wants to manifest through you, right?
Okay.
Your speed, your connections, your power, and your ability can make it manifest.
Yeah.
But if the idea feels it's boring where I am, it's too slow where I am, that idea is going to the next person.
Yeah.
It's the same way that I would like lightly using this. Where a demon will come to you and realize, you and I, it goes to this one. Then she succeeded killing the person.
Yeah.
So an idea does the same thing. So the same way we think of demons and spirits, think of an idea the same way. Remember this: you are not an engine in your head.
Yeah.
You are living out of something that I call divine intelligence, or DI, as I've started terming it.
Yeah.
Divine intelligence is the same as AI, but it's done by the divinity, which is God, if you believe in God.
Yeah.
So it's going to run around across different servers to look for manifestation, like a virus would. So it gets to you, you will think it's your idea. Of course it feels like it's your idea. It's planted in you.
Yeah.
But by what? There's something beyond you
Yes.
that has brought that to you. The idea gets bored and someone copies it, right? It starts looking also to say, okay, I can manifest better there. It will go there. That's just my own spiritual thought. Nothing to do with logic, just spiritual.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, yes.
Now, navigating corruption, unfortunately, some of us don't have names.
Yeah.
People with names can navigate corruption.
Yes.
All right? Look at it this way. If you go and report Motoro corrupt, what do you think is going to happen to you across the whole department? So you report the procurement officer, it goes to the procurement manager, goes to the procurement director, goes to the department director, and then the minister. What do you think is going to happen to you in your whole life? Because you try to provoke the one person. You try to fight one person. They will find other ways to block you elsewhere. They are already in the public service if it's a public service corruption.
Yeah.
The same thing goes to some private companies that feel very public service, the big ones.
Yeah.
You piss off one person, they are going to make sure they bury you within the whole system. So go and add how it's and add, hey, papa. That's just how we are. It's the nature of humanity. You understand? So to navigate it, you need to move away from businesses that have to trade with big entities, including government. So in my businesses, I don't remember actually having a purchase order.
Okay.
I chose, when I realized what could happen, to never do business directly with government. Because the foundation of corruption, it's easier to corrupt government because government is big.
Yes.
You understand? Not to say government creates corruption. No, it doesn't. But governments, But I then chose, I will do businesses that have to do with P2P, person to person, instead of government and so on. Because it's very risky to do business with government. If someone feels, my cousin can do this, that cousin is going to do it. You understand? Yeah. So my navigation was a runaway. I've chosen to be a coward and run away from that. Let it happen. Let other people succeed there. Yeah. So if I'm selling something right now that you can't get, but you've got access to government, no, come and buy it from me and I'll supply you. You go and deal with the government because you know how to enter. I don't know how to open that door. And I've never in my life been taught to open a door in any corrupt way.
Okay.
You understand? I've never, even police, I've never paid a bribe. Even South Africa, I take tickets. I've slept in a jail cell because I was over speeding from Durban. I mean, I could have easily just bought a cold drink.
Yeah.
But I slept in Harris Smith overnight.
Yeah.
I went to court. And then I paid my fine. Case closed. They forgave me. I'm lucky I didn't go to jail. I was doing 180 on an 80. But you understand? Yeah. So I don't know how to bribe. Maybe someone has to offer it to me.
Yes.
Maybe.
Interesting. Yeah. I think before we move on to the next discussion, I think I'd like to just comment on your question to him. I feel like inherently, I read this somewhere and I feel like it's true. Maybe you're different. Inherently, we're all selfish. Yeah. We're all narcissists. Yeah. You'll always put yourself first. The reason you're complaining is because you're not in a position to be able to push yourself first. But otherwise, if a corrupt offer was to be given to you, you will take it. So there's nothing we can do to stop that because inherently we're all selfish.
No, guys. I calculate risks. Let me tell you something. I'd rather owe a bank a loan and the bank chase after me than take a shortcut of corruption.
Yeah, true.
For me, it works. Ne? Right now, government has changed. For me, I don't come from a family with a name, right? So I need to create a name for my kids. Yeah. And I'm not going to create it by putting a bullet through my head. I'm not going to do that. Because certain things we do. Look, it's nice. I'm telling you, the guys from the BDP, they had a good time. They had a good time.
Yeah.
All right? The past 20 years of BDP, it was fantastic for these guys. But now, look at what's going to happen to their kids. Should UDC stay in another 5 years after this? It's going to happen to the kids of these BDP people. So right now, it's either you cross over to UDC, which I don't think is coming in corrupt because they need to prove to people that corruption has to die.
Yeah.
Or you get stuck there with money Jojo that you don't know what to do with. I'm just kidding. But you get stuck with money you don't know what to do with. Can't do the business because you're trying to clean that money fast. So I've never wanted to find myself in that situation. I've had offers, beautiful ones. A guy comes to me and says, Brag, I want you to do business with me. I will loan you 100,000 every week. You return it as 80,000
Every week.
every week. I've had those offers.
Yeah.
And that's how many restaurants are surviving, by the way. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
But I had those offers where I would do one of that corner. I want to come and brand this corner in Nentle. And only my people come and sit here.
Yeah. Wait, speaking of Gojar thing, what happened?
I got tired after COVID. I literally after COVID, I just got tired. I had the worst COVID experience you can think. I was in a wheelchair for almost 6 months. So imagine running a business in Senyalo, wheelchair, oxygen.
So you sold it?
Huh?
You sold it?
I let go. I let go of the business. It was not, the business was not worth it. Like, I love that business, but
was it in a profitable state? I thought, okay, if you
no, before COVID came,
Yeah.
trust me, brah, Jaratin was the hottest thing. All the complaints you'll find online every month end were 3 main restaurants, and I'm gonna name them, right? The biggest complaints will be Nando's.
Yeah.
Second complaint, Debonair's.
Yeah.
Third complaint, Jaratin. The rest are not relevant.
Because of what, late?
The late things. People
Yeah,
say
yeah.
my order was mixed up, my order was late.
Yeah,
But it was happening on month end. Do you know why? Money was pumping month end.
Yeah.
People, everyone in the city wanted to come to Jaratin to come and eat. Everyone was going to Nando's to go and eat. Everyone was going to Debonair's to buy pizza.
Yeah.
So when you don't see complaints about your brand is not, you're not there, my friend.
Yeah.
You're not, I always, after closing Jaratin, I always said to myself, but wait, when I look at the complaints, that's still there online on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but on this day, the most complained about restaurants, Nando's, Debonair's, Jaratin. I'm like, oh, sure. Huh. You know, it was not something to be proud of, but it meant that I had built a powerful brand that moved.
Yeah.
But COVID came, it came back. For me, remember when you are paying rentals and so on,
Yeah.
and you don't have a backing of 100,000 a week, you can't necessarily sustain yourself. And you either choose to say, I continue this business until the economy comes back, or I save this money. My kids can go to school. I can cover whatever mortgages, whatever it is that I have on the side, and continue with my life without spending any more money to that direction. But let me diversify from Jaratin and create Meat on Fire so that what I love to do still continues.
All right, this
Okay,
brings
so
us
didn't
to...
you think of still maintaining the brand or selling it to? Let's
No,
say
the brand is there. I
brand.
own the brand. It's registered to me. I've borrowed the brand to some people before, but they always fail to keep up. So I pull back the brand to myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the brand is... No, if I found a space with low rent, if someone comes to me now and says, I've got a space, I'm not going to charge you rent, too much rent, let's bring this thing, or someone says, I want to invest in that brand, let's go into an equity, I will definitely do it. Just need to find a way to not run a business in a country like Botswana where rental is owned by a certain group of people, and if you're not there, the rental goes up.
All right, so Anna, this brings me to our next discussion. So you talked a lot about your food business, right? And then I think in some episode that you did for your podcast, you talked about that you come from a place where there's a lot of meat, cows, and things like that.
Yeah, I'm from Karakubis. You know,
Right.
those people can eat meat. To a point where they'll leave a cow to go and eat a donkey because cows are boring.
They always want something interesting.
Yeah.
So now I want to understand. So when doing business, is it important to go for passion and pursue a business venture based on passion alone? Or do you actually try to go into the market and try to say there's a gap in the market, let me try to fill this? Because obviously in the food business, it's there. We can't say gore nya, re shota like dijo. We're always eating every day. So I want to understand gore, did you follow through the path passion, or did you actually try to go through those processes tsa gore, okay, let me do and check gore go shota eng and try to fill this gap? Because also I want to say go passion in my opinion, where something is failing, it's passion that will drive you. I like podcasting, and as much as it will not make money maybe in the next 1 year, but because I have the passion for it, it will keep me going. But then also on the other side, also, even if you go through trying to market research, trying to say maybe I'll get this number of sales in December, it's also based on trying to extrapolate based on past data. It might not be factual. Something might happen in November and you don't get the required sales by December, right? So I want to understand how to balance the two. Did you go for passion or did you go for the other? And which one has worked best for you?
I've always been lucky to find a balance in the two. Right? I've never had to pick. I've never had to weigh. I've always found myself in a situation where I can balance the two. And I learned it the hard way, right? Sometimes you find a gap. Okay. In 2009, when I came back from overseas and I came to Botswana, I started a cab business. All right, because cabs are still trendy, you know.
Yeah.
But my cab business was to fill in the one small gap, where I came with taxi meters that I bought from Malaysia, because the taxis there are metered, and in Singapore, I came with those. One of the cars I actually bought was a pre-metered taxi from Singapore, which had a pressure plate and everything. And I came to fill in the gap where I say, from UB to Riverwalk can't be 60 pula. It really can be about 10 pula, 5 pula in a cab if you are metering it. I was way ahead of my time. To this day, I'm still way ahead of my time. Okay, now probably off the ship now because there's in drivers and so on. The Yango is doing metered taxi actually. Right, in the app. Yango is metering. So I was way ahead of my time. The people I was talking to at the Ministry of Transport looked at me like I was a madman from a spaceship. So I was way ahead of my time. There was a gap to be filled, making a student afford a cab. It's safer than waiting for Kombimo Stopong. Laptop. So I was trying to fit that market. So sometimes you are trying to fill a gap in the market, but you are way ahead of your time. You are dealing with people who don't understand what you are talking about. Right? Then another thing, for me, the food business is driven first by passion. Then second, I look for what actually is missing. Okay, I like brine meat, but then what? There's no place in Gaborone where you can actually go to a place, where it's a yard, you sit down, they braai for you, you have a braai, you're chilling with friends, and you bring your own drinks. Okay, sure, I'll find a jarate and start this thing, and I'll brand the jarate thing because it says you jarate. Then I did that. You understand? So I feel in a gap of lack of social places that fit what I like. I'm not gonna go and do the bars, and you'll never see me sitting by a bar ever. You know what I mean? But if there's a place that I can go and chill with people I call my friends, because I grew up with them and I haven't seen them in about 10 years. I've been out of the country. That place is gonna give me that, and I can sit there and we chill. And someone is buying meat for us. I don't have to worry. Because you don't know. So someone who knows it can do it for you. So I wanted to fill that gap. That's the first thing I did. There was Edlas at the time. But then I came in and said, okay, Edlas is in a bar area and it's doing a very good job. But and they're doing over the free, South African style. Let me go and do in a situation where we've got a menu for you, and it's all a braai menu. You can come with your friends and have a platter and so on. So I was fitting that gap that I found missing. Everyone in Botswana was having franchise food. To be honest, when I size 10, those were, and it was goatee at some point. Those were the restaurants that were shaking the food industry away from our average hotel, lunch, President Hotel, and these franchises, Nando's and so on. These three restaurants, Edlas, Zgoti, and Size 10, were shaking it. They were really pushing. Oh, yeah, and then the Briar Place, obviously. The gentlemen from Blue Bats, obviously, big brains are from Blue Bats, always. So those four were shaking the scene. They were challenging the franchises, right? So me coming in there, I was challenging the franchises, and those four by doing something completely different from them to fill in that gap where you have a restaurant where women are free to come. You know, women are cheaper in alcohol because they prefer to buy cheaper and drink more. All right?
Yeah.
Women can come with their own preferred wines, their own preferred ciders, sit in a place. We had more women customers than men actually at Jarate. So that gap filled. So it's a homey place, it's safe, it's got walls around it, and it's got security you don't see, but it's there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it felt, so I feel that gap. That's why we're able to attract more women to the business than guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes you balance the two. You balance between passion and that. So passion, obviously, like you said, drives you to keep going. But, you know, Passion of the Christ ended with what? He died. So sometimes passion shouldn't kill you.
Okay.
So don't let passion kill you. Always balance the two. Passion is the reason why you started. It's very important to remember why you started. You did not start because you love it. You started because this thing that I love can give me money. If you just love it, GBV, you know, sorry to use that lightly, but you understand what I mean. That sometimes you can't have passion and love drive you to a point where, no, you know, balance the two. Always balance it. There's always a gap to be filled in the market. Botswana is such a small country. There's something to fill there. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. You're in the food industry right now, right? So one, like how are the margins? Since that there are very limited barriers to entering the food industry because you know
it's the least regulated.
Yes, everyone can sell food.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people that sell food. How are the margins? The profitability? How is it profitable? How profitable is it? Like, is it easier to make money? And how do you stay consistent throughout?
Okay. So there's a saying: you can't go wrong with food.
Yeah.
Do not miscalculate that saying. It's not referring to cooked food.
Yeah.
It's talking to the farm food.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with food. It doesn't mean that they are paid. So that's the one that we need to clear with people.
The farm food.
No. You can't go wrong with food.
Yeah.
The saying does not refer to they are paying running a restaurant.
Yeah.
Restaurant is bad business.
Okay.
The food business is bad business. All right?
Okay.
So, and because of the same thing. Even anywhere in the world, they'll tell you, hey, Michelin, this, Michelin. Food is the most unregulated business you are ever going to find.
Yeah.
Street food, this, cooking there, anyone can do it. So the margins, you control them based on what you get. So it depends on what your core is. So some people will say, no, push your margins up. You've got bills, rental, staff, and whatever. You calculate, possibly pushes you to about 45% to 50% on your margins, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you need to know what makes money for you. For me, pap, morogo, those are free items. I've never worked them out as a margin. My margin is on meat. If I'm getting it for $45 on a kilo, I'm going to hammer my margins on the meat. And I'm going to make sure that my meat looks so good and so nice and it tastes so well. That is the one thing that sometimes one thought, you understand?
Yeah.
So for me, the trick has always been, I capitalize on what I love doing, which is meat. Well, palage, I could live without doing palage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? So the margins, you push them up based on what you want to achieve. But some people would say, most restaurants, when I work out how they calculate, when I send a restaurant, they're pushing about 60% margins on it.
Yeah.
It's got good margins. Because, come on, you are buying onions, say, for 2 pula.
Yeah.
Burger rayo, you are selling it for 90 pula. In there, the means probably cost you about 3 pula 50 tabe. The bun costs you about 3 pula 50 as well. The sauce to buy it is about 36 pula. You are just putting a dot in there. Let's divide that with 750. Let's say you are doing it like a quart. So you're looking about 30 shots of the sauce at 750 ml into that thing. So your average is about what, 17 tabe, 18 tabe? Yeah. So the burger itself, you've got a bun for 3 pula. You've got onion for not 2 pula, no, less than 2 pula, because I agree you about 10.
Yeah.
And then you've got the mains, which is going to be, let's say, maximum 5 pula, right? And then tomato leon, you'll probably be about 75 type of that in there. Yeah. So the whole burger probably costs you about 12 pula 50, right?
Yeah.
But it's your burger, bro. You've cooked it, there's gas in there, there's skill in there, there's sweat and everything. You've put effort in it. You push it up to 90 pula.
Interesting. So,
but to be honest with you, yes, you've covered the cost and everything, but do you really want to tell me that you can calculate the cost of electricity from making one burger? You can't. You can't. So it's a thing of when I look at Botswana market, it's what's trending, how much is it going for, I'm going to go for that price. Before they even calculate. The chefs will tell you, I've sat with chefs, ne? They'll tell you, you gotta calculate this. And then I say to him, yeah, sure, I agree with you. But let's say his price goes up to $50 on his price.
Yeah.
I'll say to him, but this burger is trending, bro. I've got value of content marketing. I'm pushing it to 90 pula.
So the margins are really predetermined by the number of people who want it.
They're determined by how much you're making it trend. So you set the demand. Remember, the food industry is very difficult.
Yeah.
These days, you have to set the trend.
So it's not about food anymore.
It's not about food anymore.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you'd understand Mutare, no, the prices they are my cost of rental, my cost of staff, my cost of this and all this. I've worked it out, it gives me about 45%, and I'm gonna put in my own time in there, 15% more. I've got a 60% markup on my food.
And then now you just add 30% of TikTok likes.
Then you go, yeah, then no, but that's, I mean, if it's trending, I want it. So you gotta understand that now the food industry has changed to be trending.
But the thing is now, okay, fine, fair enough. That one is trending.
Yeah.
But typical burgers are now, you'd see this is a very basic burger. It's retailing for 120 something bucks. And the restaurant is not even trending. It's just an average restaurant.
And they're selling it for expensive.
Yeah, now what are we saying? What's
How much is it selling?
So
I'm going to price for that.
So now that they're trying to cover, let's say now it's slightly up more than the average restaurant.
Price.
Yeah, and let's say others sell it for 100 and you are selling for 120, but it's not even better than the others.
But there are other things in your menu that are selling?
Yes.
Yeah, the burger is an inconvenient product for you.
Yeah.
There's in every menu, right?
Yeah.
There's an inconvenient product.
Okay.
I'll overprice this inconvenient product, so you buy the ones that I really want to sell. There are people who come, you don't even want to sell ribs. And someone says, how many ribs? Yo. And you're like, hey, you could be the customer and the beer is 6. Next week it's the ribs.
Oh, okay, yes. I think
I
that's why most restaurants get a groove. That's the thing. Yeah, because
I'm
now
not
they're selling alcohol,
Yeah.
but food, it's like an afterthought. Like, okay, they can eat.
That's
But
fair.
let's
we
drink.
don't have a fun food culture in
Yeah.
Botswana. We don't have a fun food culture. Some countries have fun food culture. I went to eat there, the food. That's why even our BTO or someone who maybe, let's say, Hatab, is not even rating restaurants. We don't have restaurant ratings in this country. So because we eat for convenience, but we drink for fun.
You know the interesting thing about what you're saying right now? I had a conversation with you all the other day. It was a theory that I just came to think about. There's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and at the very bottom is food, water, like the basic needs.
Yeah.
And food is very basic. So in my opinion, you remember earlier you had like an analogy of that women have a lot of options. So I felt like with food, even if you're selling something for 90 pula, if you're selling something that has to move every day and people have to eat every day, I have options and I can go for the cheapest option ever because I want to eat and satisfy that need.
Yeah.
But then as you go up, like a clothing brand, people can add extra margins because that luxury to add. I don't need to be wearing something expensive, but because it's a luxurious sector, I can double my prices. But with food, how double, I can go for a cheap one.
Yeah, especially in the middle of the month. You're going to lose money. You'll make money month end when people are not. Like, I'll go to an expensive restaurant in the end of the month because
you are willing to pay.
Yeah.
But then if you're selling something, let's say burgers that you want them to move every day, I want to understand, because it's contrary to our concept earlier, you can't really add margins like that because you're trying to get it moving every day. Yeah. So I'm wondering how you're able to balance that. And as much as when something is trending, it'll be bought, but things don't trend forever. And if I need to eat, I need to eat.
Yeah.
So how you manage to balance that margin aspect of food, because I always felt like with food, I know the price of a wing. If you're gonna sell me 6 wings, 100 pula, I know what I know. So that's why I get very interested in those margins. Like, how are you able to add those margins? Because food, if you know, it's a bit tricky.
But you see, the thing with food is that almost every restaurant has a special.
Every day.
Almost every restaurant has a special. Right? You get one burger, get one free. You get rib nights, you get all these things.
Yeah.
If it didn't move, I want to remind you that it's nice. I want to run a special on it. You understand?
Yeah.
That's the time when I really get it to go out there. But remember, at one point, certain products in a menu really become redundant. They become decorations.
Yeah.
But you can't also not have them on your fridge because can't be work high. And if you see they're going to overstay their welcome in the fridge, you run a special to get them out. But there are products that when you price your menu, you know what moves. In every restaurant in Gaborone, almost, not all of them, almost every restaurant, especially non-franchise driven ones, even the franchise ones have got Seswa everywhere. Seswa is always going to be there. Because Seswa, we are going to want to eat it. And the plate of Seswa is always the cheaper one. Maybe the Tswana lunch or whatever. And it's just thrown in at lowest price. It's just bulk. You just want to go and buy some bulky stew somewhere and then just load it in a pot and then you just so like you are done the palage. But people are going to come and buy it because ka lunch hour. That is why lunch hour people buy can go to office here. As my go here to the office or plate at 15 You understand?
Yeah.
So you need to know what in your menu is going to make you volume and what in your menu is going to give you luxury and what in your menu is going to give you a fantastic experience.
So basically, in the hierarchy of needs, the other one would be like would be at the level of needs. The other one would be luxury, still in the same restaurant.
Gotta turn it around and try to
Yeah, you turn it around. You
the
have
whole
to
thing
keep,
and
you have
try
to keep your people on your
interesting.
toe. I mean, let's just be honest. The mix that possibly makes a green bottle beer is the same mix that makes a black bottle beer. You know there's a difference in beers, huh?
Yeah.
Black bottle is like your, green is like better, clear is like, oh yeah.
I don't know.
Have you realized that?
Okay, so
So-
I wouldn't know. It's very important to it's an expensive brand.
Yeah, you must have a variety because
Turn it around and try to figure it out. Okay, how much I feel I just need to wear something. Have it then I know I'm trying. I'm at a point where I'm trying to be different.
I think
you
it's
have
the
a
same
product for
model
that.
that Samsung uses. Samsung high releaser, it releases different varieties. Now, like the very high end, your S, right? Even na label A, your middle, and then you have your lower range. Basically, everyone
but
has a
about
Samsung.
school.
Yeah, everyone has
even
a
the
Samsung
cars,
phone.
same thing. So you gotta have that variety, especially in a country like Botswana where majority of the people don't actually have money to do anything. And where the market is very small. You see, if you are to come to Botswana and say you're opening a luxury style restaurant, you guys have opened cigar lounges in this country, like proper, not that cigar lounge,
Yes,
like a proper one,
yeah.
right?
No, that does not sound.
And that cigar lounge didn't last.
Yeah.
It didn't last, not because people. Come on, it was here in Malapo Crossing. It was properly priced.
Oh no, I remember it.
Prince,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
like a
yes,
Prince,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
was the aesthetic.
It was nice.
The aesthetic was so
the
nice.
aesthetics.
Yeah.
You were sitting on chestnut sofas, bruh.
Yeah.
And when your whiskey comes to you, it's got smoke coming out of it. You didn't mind getting a steak because you were there.
Yeah.
But how many people can actually sustain that model of business by buying from it? You understand? So even certain luxury brands, if they want to come to Botswana, yeah, a few people buy. But you know how Botswana are? How Botswana are? Where the phone call, Joburg, buy the same thing.
Interesting.
So you this market is Botswana market is a very special market on that sense. That you know, who's going to consume your product? Whenever I calculate my targets, right? I say, okay, there's about 300,000 people in Gaborone, 285,000 people in Gaborone. Out of the 285, already 75% I write it off. It's not a market. So I've got only 25% of that market. So let's say that 300,000, I've got only 25% of that market as a potential. It's not even your market, it's just a potential market. Out of this 25%, how many are actually employed? You end up left with only 2,500 people who can actually afford to buy your product.
All right. Hey, Mr. Galo, I think we need to wrap up. You've been talking. I wonder how long your lectures were taking. All right. Okay. Well, how many questions are we left?
I think maybe we should move on to the content creation sector so we can wrap up. I think the episode is going to be 3 hours.
Okay, yeah. Since you own a studio, you sell studio time. Like, how let's talk about the content creation. Like there's need for long-term success in this business. And in Botswana we struggle with monetizing YouTube, and the viewership is relatively low. How can one make money from podcasting and get return in the investment? Basically, we're asking for insights live.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all different. Different content, different target market.
Yeah.
Right? Good content.
Different.
As in good. As in like good content, like professional content. Right?
Yes, yeah.
Where you talk about serious things.
Oh, okay. Yes.
It doesn't necessarily move eyeballs that fast.
Yes.
Right? Don't talk one. It moves. Right?
Yeah.
But you need to know what you are picking and why you're talking about it, right? I like the fact that you guys, when you started your podcast, your focus is you're going to push what you're pushing. You focus on finance and you're going to go for it,
Yeah.
right? Chance of someone liking what you do, who is actually serious about it, is there, because as long as you're educating people, certain people want to put value on that. When you're talking to Tlantlokwani, you will get sponsorships or partnerships or brands, advertising.
yeah.
But in those podcasts at Tlantlokwani, what is the most product that they put out? Like, what do you see?
Alcohol.
I mean, obviously, most of it is alcohol.
Yeah. The non-good social content
Yeah.
is what then attracts certain products around it.
Yeah.
Right? Not to say you'd refuse if an alcohol brand, I mean, if a premium whiskey comes and offers you, you won't refuse.
Yes.
You're selling premium whiskey to premium clientele who are listening to your educational content.
Yeah.
But you need to target your audience in a way that you are able to attract the right eyeballs and also get the right attention from the right people who want to help you monetize.
Yeah.
By monetizing in Botswana, unfortunately for now, the only way to monetize is to find partners and sponsors for your content.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, don't find yourself having sold your soul to preaching something just because you're getting paid for it.
Yeah.
All right? So the ideal thing is that once you started the content, it's not far. The Ministry of Sports and Arts, MOSA, has already started making headway on this. Yeah. It's not far. That will come. But for now, it's finding the right partners for your conversations and giving them value for why they should be there. If I'm going to say I'm sponsoring you for your podcast, I obviously want to see my brand there and I want people to see my brand.
Yeah.
Secondly, I want to make sure that the message that is coming out of there works in my advantage.
Yeah.
It makes people want to buy insurances, want to buy loans, want to buy cars or whatever.
Yeah.
But the ideal thing is about, are they the right people? Can I you are attracting people, but what your podcast But if the message resonates in a way that someone changes their life, you might say something to someone, right? Yeah. On a podcast, you're just talking. Someone is affected by it and then starts changing their life based on what they found in your podcast.
Yeah.
And they go on to change. One day they'll give the
testimony.
Yeah. One day you probably get a testimony.
Yeah.
But focus your content on making sure that, one, you are very consistent with it. You maintain your quality of it. Quality of your conversations is very important. And also make sure that someone is getting something out of it. You can't just talk njenje. Those who are chasing Tlantlokwani are enjoying the Tlantlokwani. And they're the ones who are going to go out and buy a beer because by Bonimo podcasting. You understand? The biggest podcasts in Africa are the ones that don't talk. Yeah. Financial podcasts, business entrepreneurship podcasts, and so on. Some grow because you know people, a lot of people, and they actually just like you as a person.
Yeah.
But some struggle to grow because the conversations don't necessarily, attract the right ears and the right eyeballs.
Yeah.
So in content creation, you have to keep that in mind. And also find a way to get your content relevant as much as you possibly can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you said something very interesting, but then I think if I'm not lying, the second biggest podcast in the world is The Diary of the CEO. And
Yes,
it's a
of course.
business
That's-
podcast.
No, it's a fantastic podcast.
Yeah.
It is.
It's not in Africa.
So now I want to deviate a bit from what we're talking about right now. So basically, if in Africa, okay, let me give another example. So basically, if you go to the mall, it's because there are different shops there, right?
Yeah.
So I want to speak to the value of competition. So a lot of people that are pushing podcasting So podcast is known for that. So when someone is saying, I want to watch a podcast, so I want to speak to that. If a lot of people did business podcasts and it was marketed, people would actually now look for the best podcast in the business segment.
Exactly.
So now I want to talk about competition. In Africa, we have a thing of trying to compete in a negative way, but however, competition can actually be good because if a space is now open to a lot of people, people now go there because they know they can get value.
Yeah.
For example, YouTube is now becoming popular because a lot of people are putting things on YouTube. So now Wi-Fi is becoming popular as well. Now people are moving to YouTube. The more podcasts there are means that podcast is a popular thing. YouTube so there's value in competition. So I want you to speak to the value of competition. So you have a mindset change. Competition is not always bad. Sometimes it's cultivating a market, and now we're building people's mindsets to now be appreciative of that new market that's been built. So I want us to speak about the value of competition. How do we leverage on competition as Africans?
There are two things. There's rivalry and there's competition.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these things, we always seem to put them as the same thing.
Yeah.
You understand? We always seem to want to put them as the same thing. Competition is very good. I actually like competition because it cultivates creativity.
Yes.
When you challenge what I do by competing with me, the guy was position 2. He was.
Yes. Yeah. Because
It was a competition.
Yeah.
But the guy decided, I'm going to push my head a little bit further so that I can win this. So if you're competing because you want to win at this, you don't want to take anyone down. There's a difference. I don't want to take you down. I see you doing it. I'm going one step further.
Yeah.
Then you chase. Another one chases. And so on. Overtake and so on. That cultivates growth.
Yes.
In an economy, even just beyond content.
Yeah.
It cultivates growth. The problem comes now with rivalry. And that is where an African seems to think, or some Africans seem to think.
And seem to
some
prosper.
Africans are always thinking about the village people. You know what that thing is?
Yes. Yes.
So we are always thinking about the village people. Some of us, or some people are raised in cultures where mongwe le mongwe is coming after you. We already grow up in that. So we are unable to know the difference between someone competing fairly and someone actually being your rival. Because hey, you then go to hey. So how you understand? But in Africa also, competition exists within a copycat environment. You understand? There is competition and rivalry.
Yeah.
There is always complain about proposal and those things are, but will not make up those things.
Yeah.
They say them because they are there.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that also exists. Because selfishness is, that's why it has the word self.
Yeah.
You know, it's self.
Yeah.
You know, it's always going to be there. Someone is going to be there. But as long as you are competing fairly, run your race. I choose to run my race. A lot of people tell me, hey, you know, this meat on fire thing, I like it, I want to do it. I'm like, please, if you ever need tips, come to me, I'll show you how. Because I'm okay with the competition. Some guys have come here about, oh, we see your studio, and then jiggy, they're setting up the same thing. I am happy to actually help. You understand? Because for me, you are creating a market that is not there. I am the first podcast-focused studio operator in the country.
Yeah.
Others have been doing podcasts before me. Trust me, podcasts have been there. They've been doing them. Kamosoko. I'm the first podcast-first focused studio in the country.
Yeah.
So when I'm alone like this, I look like a scam. 500 pull-up per episode. No, honestly, I look like I'm scamming people. 500 pull-up per episode. But if someone opens a podcast studio, I'm actually happy to help them because they're creating an environment where someone can say, And that is what then creates that what you need. So the same competition should work in that way, where it should be able to have. But there's nothing wrong with that. You understand? Don't do it out of spite. Do it out of opportunity and to create a comparison.
All right, man. I think we had a long conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for actually making time for us.
And guys, thank you very much for being my first client and staying on.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
We were becoming partners slowly. Yeah. Except for Vicky, but I think we...
Thank you so much for joining us, Kyla. It's been a great episode. Episode 3, Gingerbread Podcast. Bye.